Okay, you guys, we are live today. Good morning. My name is Tammy Anderson Ward with the Energy Healing Conference. It's a beautiful Saturday morning, and I'm so thrilled to be able to bring on one of our experts, our speaker spotlights today. This is Samantha Bryson. She is an amazing coach. We call her Coach Sambry. And I want to introduce you to her, and I'm going to go ahead and bring her back on. She's going to be teaching you guys some really cool stuff about clarity today. So if that is something that you're really interested in, I want to make sure that you tune in for sure. It's going to be brief, but she's going to be teaching some hands-on things, some strategies for you as a coach. So listen in. All right, you guys, Samantha Bryson, aka Coach Sambry, she's on a mission to help ADHD entrepreneurs shatter their limits and own their own power. Through a fierce blend of mindset coaching, sound healing, and energy work, Samantha helps clients break free from self-doubt and tap into their true potential and design a life that truly works for them. She shows you how to embrace your authentic self because that is your real superpower. I wholeheartedly believe that and align with that. That's beautiful. Samantha equips you with the clarity and confidence and strategies to thrive authentically and unapologetically. Her class at the conference is called Get Clear AF and Unlock Your Potential. It's a bold, no-nonsense program designed to help you clear mental clutter, break through limiting beliefs, and unlock the clarity that you need to take aligned action. It's time to stop wasting energy and start living a more focused, purposeful life with the tools and support to make it happen. No hustle required. And please help me to welcome Samantha Bryson. Woo-woo, I loved that. That is such a
Hi.
fantastic description of you. I love it.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it took a lot to get everything in there, but I think it really describes it all because there's a lot.
It's beautiful. I love it so much. So I want to ask you a question because as we've been talking and having conversations, because you were so kind and thoughtful, you ended up coming in and volunteering at one of our conferences. So I got to really connect with you. I remember you having this different type of perspective or interpretation about ADHD, which is like, being distracted and all these things to some people. But that's not how you look at it. You look at it as something different. And you say ADHD isn't my superpower, living authentically is. I would like to know a little bit more about what you mean by that. And also, can you tell us about how that philosophy kind of plays into the coaching that you do?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm gonna go out on a limb here. Some people might get mad at this, but I've heard so many people say, "Oh, ADHD is my superpower." And I love that they feel that way, but truthfully, the disorder is not your superpower. You learning how to use that superpower or living authentically with that is your superpower. And so, yeah, really just letting go of the title because truthfully, if we didn't have the doctors that needed to be trained by the DSM to help their patients, it wouldn't be labeled as a disorder. It would just be who I am or who the people are. And so, yeah, like if we were 100 years ago or even, 500 years ago, back in Knights times, all these different kind of places, we would be the people who would be watching the village. We would be the people who are out there hunting and gathering. And so because we have the society we have now, we're not hunting and gathering anymore. And so that energy just gets built up. And then claiming that disorder definitely has an impact of shame on it with people. And so my coaching is really about finding the experiences that have kind of given you that shame piece. Like I know for myself, I'm always like, am I overthinking this? Like, if I did it this way last time, it got me in trouble. So like, maybe I got to do it different. But realistically, that one experience just kind of put that label on it for me. And then I carry that label with me. So what I do with everybody is just really go back and find those experiences and basically reframe them, because your power has been there the whole time. It's just been misunderstood. And so that's really what I dive into with people. A lot of inner child work, a lot of reprogramming, and a lot of habit building, because you're not broken. You're just using a system that doesn't work for you.
Wow, that's crazy cool. I love that. Just, I mean, I totally vibe with that, because I know that when you do carry shame and, there's vibrations to certain words, right? So we
Mm-hmm.
were just talking about that with Tomasa last night, or yesterday when she did her interview, about how literal diagnoses do have a vibration. And so
Mm-hmm.
saying health projects or something like that is better than like owning it, you can get rid of it. So
Yeah.
I want to ask you a little bit about goal setting, because manifesting and goals and all of that is something that I'm super passionate about. And I
Mm-hmm.
love opening up my mind to new ways of looking at things. So can you tell us a little bit about the goal setting method that you do use? Like, how is it different from maybe like traditional goal setting techniques that are out there? And I want to go ahead and give you like a good 15 minutes to really cover this. Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. So, yeah, one of my favorite things that I have done, or like that really speaks to that authenticity piece, is I've transformed SMART goals into what I call trans goals. And so, for those of you tuning in that don't know what SMART goals are, SMART goals is a format that really helps you get very clear on the goal that you're setting. And so there's a lot of different words that get used for these letters, for the SMART. It's an acronym. And so I'll just cover that real quick. So S is specific, M is measurable, A is attainable, R is realistic, and then T is time-based. And so it spells out that SMART acronym. And I actually first learned this when I was in my corporate career. It was used for quarterly goals at my job, and I hated it like so much. And really, what got me stuck was the first letter, because in that order, you're supposed to get specific. And I was like, well, how can I get specific when, I don't even know like what I'm trying to go after? Like, and this is my ADHD. This is before I was diagnosed. And so I was just kind of like, I can't, like, I just couldn't get over that hump. And so it was always like, I don't know, I just hated setting goals. And I never set realistic ones, because I was like, well, I'll just, I'll shoot for the moon. Because if you shoot for the moon, if you miss, you hit the stars. And so I was like, okay, let's get really like, I'm going to just make this awesome thing happen. And then they were not realistic. And so I would never hit them. And so then I was like, okay, well, if I set them too big, it overwhelms me. And then I have issues making the goal. And so I was like, well, I'll just go super easy and make it super attainable. So then I would look at it and be like, oh, well, I have time to do that. No worries. That's a super easy goal. I'll get it done so quickly. And then I wouldn't hit the goal, because I did not see how much time actually needed to happen and the energy that needed to be behind it to make it happen. And so when I learned like what exactly my holdup was, which this is actually what I do in coaching too. If you find out what the issue that you have is, then you can actually move around that. And so that S always just got me stuck right in my tracks. And then I was like, well, I can't measure anything because I don't know what the goal is, and I can't like do all these things. So we're just going to flip that right around. So that makes it a trans goal. So I love thinking about this as a tram, like you're taking the tram to the top of the mountain. I'm in Utah, so there's a lot of trams around, lots of mountains. And so that makes me happy, because I go hiking a lot. And so thinking about getting to the top of the mountain just really resonates with me. But we're going to actually start with the T. So the T here is time. And you're going to look at what time do you want this goal set. So I like to set things at 90 days. A lot of things can change in 90 days. You can change in 90 days. Your beliefs can change in 90 days. So if I'm going to set like a super long goal, like I want this to be a year or 5 years or whatever that looks like, I'm going to actually do it in 90-day increments because that is just what I found works best for me. But regardless of when you're setting this, you're going to start with that T. Because if I say, hey, I'm going to make $1 million, absolutely, that's attainable. It's totally realistic. But if I say I'm going to make $1 million tomorrow, that's a little bit less realistic unless unless I'm already close to that $1 million to be able to say, hey, I can get that tomorrow. So for this example, I'm just going to use weight loss because we're getting into summer and that's a really common goal at this time. And so if I'm looking at the T, I'm going to look at 6 weeks. So 6 weeks is going to be my time, which I did not look at the date ahead 6 weeks right now. That's going to put us at July 12th. And so for this example, that's what we're going to be using the date for. So if you're following along, or if you know SMART goals, you fill in kind of like ad lib or mad libs. And so the first one there is going to be our 6 weeks, or if you want to use your own goal, you can put that in there right now. And then that's going to take us to the R. So what is actually realistic in this time? Well, I know from my own weight loss journeys that experts say 1 to 2 pounds a week is sustainable for long-lasting weight loss. So for this goal, we're going to actually use both of those numbers because this is another thing that I do to really give myself that easy win and also not get it too hard for me so I don't get overwhelmed. So I'm going to put on this realistic, I'm going to put 6 pounds as my minimum because 1 to 2 pounds, so 6 weeks, and then 12 pounds as my maximum. But I'm actually going to make the goal at 10 pounds. So I know this is a lot of numbers, but we're setting up the low, the high, and the actual. So that way, if you get 7 pounds, you might not have gotten the 10, but the 7 pounds is going to say, okay, I did it, and now I can do it again because we want to replicate our success. So if you hit the 12 pounds, you're a rock star. If you hit more than that, you're awesome. And then if you hit that 10, that's the goal. So that takes us into the A. So how are we going to attain this goal? What action steps are we going to do? And a lot of these words that are used in the SMART goal format, they're all interchangeable. So if you have your own word that you use in this, it still works here. So for myself, I'm very much a maximalist. You can't tell already from the step we just did. And so in this action step, I'm going to just load myself up with all the actions I want to do. So I know for me personally, it works best when I increase my water, when I increase my movement, and when I decrease my sugar intake. I also did keto for 4 years, and so sugar and me, we don't get along. It's always the thing that I wanna get out of there, or at least have the least of. And so in this action step, you want to do any actions that you know you're going to take. But for this example, I'm just going to use those 3. Then that's going to take us into our M. So M is for measurable here. So when we're measuring this goal, we want to look at a couple different things. Now, obviously, the pounds lost on the scale is definitely what we're looking at because that's the tangible thing that we can see. But also we want to look at some other things. I will just say this is also one of those steps that helps me not feel defeated if I don't hit my goals. So, but also the scale doesn't tell you everything. So we're going to be looking at the 10 pounds lost, but we're also going to be looking at your energy level. If you're losing weight and you're, getting yourself healthy, your energy level is going to skyrocket. And then if you are, working out and you're lifting weights, you're actually going to be losing inches, which the scale doesn't pick up on that. So if we look at the inches that we've lost and we look at our energy level and we look at, I mean, literally whatever else you want to look at here. This is your step to give you all of these different data points that you can see how you've hit this goal. So from there, that's going to take us to our S. And now this is where the Mad Lib comes in, because all we're going to do, instead of trying to come up with this super specific goal out of thin air, we're just going to look at the things that we've already filled in and make it in sentence format. So this is how it would look. In 6 weeks, by July 12th, I'm going to lose 10 pounds. And I'm going to do that by increasing my movement, increasing my water, decreasing my sugar. And I'll know I've hit this goal because I'll see the pounds lost on the scale. I'll know that, or I'll feel my energy is up, and I will be able to see that my clothes are fitting baggier because I've lost inches. So it sounds a lot better than I just want to lose weight this summer. So that is how I just kind of have taken a process that a lot of people have known and just really make it work for me. And I used to hate goals so much, and now I love setting goals. And I have helped almost 600 people set goals and create a life that supports them financially, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, all the things. And really, this is one of the main pieces that I use. So yeah, this is one of my favorite things. And Tammy, I'll take it back to you, or I'll bring you back here, because that's pretty much it. But that makes it so much simpler to really be able to have an actionable goal. And then if you are doing those 90 days, you can just rinse and repeat.
That's awesome. I love it. Well, I set myself a goal about 90 days ago to let go of 20 pounds, and I have gained 20 pounds.
Oh, no.
So what do you do about those kind of situations? Oh, you get a coach, right?
Yes, I would definitely say get a coach. But really what I would do is say, okay, what happened? Where did I veer off course? You've been getting ready for an event, so that's pretty stressful. I think you just had a brand new grandbaby too, if I remember right. So lots of different things. Plus you've been coaching and school ended, all of those kind of things going on. So what I would say is just really look at it and say, okay, I didn't hit my goal, yes, but what can I do to correct whatever happened? Like recently we had a passing in the family, and so I was like, I didn't get my outreaches done. I didn't get all my non-negotiables. And then I was like, hold on. We had a passing. It was emotional. I've been dealing with all these things. And really, this is how we not instill shame in us, is just say, okay, what's realistic? I didn't do the thing, right? I didn't do it. Maybe I was using a different coping mechanism, and then say, okay, what's not working for me and how can I change it? But there's no shame there because it's just accepting who you are.
Actually, I think that's the thing that I do like the most about how you do your coaching, is that you do take shame out of the equation, because there are many people who just absolutely hate goals, because
Yeah.
every time they set a goal, it's like, okay, then the universe says, okay, you really want that goal? Let's see how serious you are,
Yes.
And I don't want to like make excuses for why I didn't get my goal, but I do love how you say, you know what? We're going to take the shame out of the equation, and we're going to re-identify what's important and take it from there. I just really love it. Can I ask you a couple more questions about this? Because like I would love to know kind of what influenced your journey and the development of this program that you have called Get Clear AF. Like, what a fun name, first of all. But like, what kind of came into play to influence you for this?
Yeah, well, my own story. So I have had 30 jobs in the last 20 years. I've started 9 businesses in that time. I'm only 37, so that math doesn't math. I had a lot of jobs at the same time, multiple kind of streams of income, and I always knew that I wanted something more. But as soon as I would get comfortable in my position, that's when I would like, okay, I can start that business. Like, I'm comfortable here. This is on autopilot. Like now I can switch focuses. And I saw the same thing over and over again. Like I would get the business going as soon as it was to the place that I would have to launch and let go of the corporate career. I would get the fears, I would get the insecurities, life would happen, right? Like that thing you said about life tests you and said, oh, do you really want this? Like that. If I could teach people one thing, that is what I would teach them, because life doesn't want to make you a liar. Life doesn't know how to lie. So it's like, oh, you want this? Let's see. Right. And so what I found from my own journey was that I just didn't have a goal or know where I wanted to go. It was always kind of really right here in my face. And when you're so close to the trees, it's hard to see the forest. And so getting clear is actually what has made this is my 10th business. And it is getting clear is what's really actually made this profitable for me and actually getting that momentum. This business is the second longest thing I've had, only second to the corporate job that I had for 4 years. So most of my positions are under the year mark. But people shamed me for that. My own family called me a job hopper. Like they're the ones that gave me that title. And I know, they were teasing me and all those kind of things, but it really stung. And so that's where I was like, okay, I got to take the shame of the job hopper, because literally every single time I got a new job, it was an increase either in pay, in tasks, in, authority, like all these different kind of things. And so that's really where I learned, okay, we have to stop shaming ourselves, because shame is one of the most useless emotions, in my opinion. And really get clear about where you're going. Because if you know where you're going and you know what's held you back, it's just, I don't know, it's just you take the guesswork out of it. You just go. Like distractions no longer have a thing. So
there's the thing with employees doing that, but then there's lots of entrepreneurs that do that also. Do you know what I mean? Like entrepreneurs also have challenges when it comes to being focused and getting stuff done. You know what I mean? Like all of those kind of things. And I know that that's part of your mission behind why you're doing what you're doing. So can I just ask you, how does your system come into play for entrepreneurs?
Yeah, absolutely. So with those 9 businesses that I've started, it really showed me that the reason I never launched is because I didn't have that trust in myself. So, if I can't continue a corporate job where I was just doing the things for somebody else, how on earth can I trust myself to run it all? Because, you're in one position and now you're moving to being, the multiple hat wearer, which is what I did in my positions anyways. But so yeah, really getting that self-trust, because as you trust yourself, you start to realize that there are no wrong decisions. You start to realize that those distractions were actually the piece that led you to where you needed to be. Like this coaching business that I have, looking back, as I was going through it to this coaching business, it was chaos and craziness. But as I look back, I'm like, oh my gosh, every single position, every single business, every single interaction, every single write-up, right? Because I got written up for testing people's policies. And so all of that was in place for me to be successful in this business. And so if we let go of the quote unquote failures, then we actually see that they were the stepping stones to get us where we need to be.
I love this. Actually, it's making me think of some of the most successful entrepreneurs that I personally like working with. Jana, Jana McKinney, she was my breathwork instructor. And I remember her talking about how she got several degrees for, I can't even remember what her degrees were in now, to be honest with you. But she was like, yeah, I went into that because I was really interested. But the knowledge, the information, and even the degrees helped her to be able to serve people in her breathwork instruction. Yeah. So I'm like, oh my gosh. So yeah, it was like a stepping stone. And then I'm even thinking about my own journey, you know what I mean? Like I was a homeschool mom and I used to do homeschool clubs and organizations and field trips and all kinds of community stuff, you know what I mean? Where I would always just say, "Oh, I don't want to charge people for it." So I just wouldn't, you know what I mean? But then all of those connections helped me to launch my very first conference, which was the Winter Homeschool Conference. So literally as you're talking, I'm like connecting dots in my mind. I guess this is what you do for people who, you know, it's like all out here. And then you're like, let me connect these dots for you. I feel like
Yes.
that's totally what you're doing. And it helps people to be able to see it so that it makes sense. That's
Yes.
cool. I love it. And also looking at it, just I guess this is your reframing that you're talking about, right? Like instead
Yeah.
of looking at it with shame or like it was a waste, it wasn't a waste. It was actually
Empowerment.
hustle, part of that stepping stone. This is really valuable. I really appreciate you.
Yes. Yeah,
This is
absolutely. So I'll highlight kind of some of those milestones. So like when I got out of college, I wanted to go or high school, I wanted to go into hair or food, and my dad was like, "No. Those jobs are going to keep you on your feet. Those jobs are nights and weekends and all those kind of things." And so I got what he meant, kind of sort of. And so right there being like, "Oh, well the thing I want to go into isn't going to be good. So what do I do now?" Fast forward to opening my first business. It was actually a bakery. So I went back, and brought up that food that I wanted to do that my dad told me no on. And then, so I'm jumping around, but my busy brains will keep up with me. And then when I went to college, I went to pharmacy school. And then my ADHD journey was all about getting medicated because I just couldn't do anymore. I was like, I need medication. Got the medication. It wasn't the fix. It wasn't like the holy grail fix that I thought it was going to be. And then I've kind of seen that really medication isn't what we need. We need the systems that work for us. Now, I'm not saying we don't, like, medication is definitely valuable for people that want to do that. But because it wasn't the fix I need, and that's the whole reason I got diagnosed, I'm very much like, let's figure out how your life works for you. Because I did do the pharmacy schooling. And like, that seems so random. It was like, why do I want to do this? Well, now here I am 15 years later, understanding like how the whole story connects with me. And so very much, we don't need the medications. You can do this yourself because you have everything internal within you. And that's what people told me when I started getting diagnosed for ADHD. And I was like, nope, I need the medication. I need the external resource. And now being on the other side of it, I don't think you need to get diagnosed. I know a lot of people out there who are self-diagnosed, and they come to me all the time asking, do I need to get diagnosed? If you want to, yes, but I only see diagnosis for accommodation and medication. So if that's what you're after, then absolutely. Other than that, you can make life adjustments to really overcome whatever your symptoms are.
Okay. And then the next question I have for you is, what's one major transformation you've seen in a client that embodies the spirit of Get Clear AF?
Yes, I love this question. Thank you so much. I have a client who, when she came to me, she had 12 different pathways that she was kind of juggling. I could go here, I could go here, I could go here. I'm like, yeah, you could go anywhere, but where do you want to go? She's like, well, this one, would be profitable. This one would be fun. This one would be something else. She had all these different reasons. I was like, okay, we got to bring it into here. Not what can I do, because people who are neurodivergent, and I mean, most people can do whatever they can do. We can fit into any bucket that you want to, but that's not what we're doing anymore. And that's definitely not what you should do as an entrepreneur. And that's why 8 of my businesses failed, because I was like, oh, this is going to be such high profit. Like, I had a balloon business for like 6 months, and I was like, oh, the price I can charge versus the amount of supplies, I can totally make this business work. Yeah, if you don't like what you're doing as an entrepreneur, it's really hard to get that going. And so with this client, she had all these different pathways. And so I told her to turn that back in and ask her what she wanted to do. And she was like, well, I want to do this, but here's the limiting belief. But my parents won't like it, or this somebody will have an opinion about it, or whatever kind of happens. And I was like, no, we're not doing that. What do you want to do? So I actually took her through my Get Clear AF program, which is 6 steps. So number 1, we're clearing the belief systems, the BS. Number 2, we're dreaming in high vibe detail. And then number 3, we're making it make sense. And this is the step that really, really gets people clear, because if you can't make it make sense to you, why are you doing it? Then 4, we're hitting unsubscribe to letting go of those things. 5, we're doing the damn thing, because how many times, I know I've done it, I can only talk about myself. How many times have you been like, I'm going to go to the gym, and then you don't, and you're like, I still don't have 6-pack abs, because you haven't gone to the gym. And then that 6th step is getting clear AF. And so what my client did, or stay clear AF. And so what my client has done now, she's actually a bestseller because she doubled down on coaching, and she was invited to be part of a book. So she's now, I think it's actually a 2-time bestseller. She has coaching clients because I made her narrow down her focus, and she is literally doing whatever she wants. She can work from anywhere in the world. She's getting ready to go to a conference this weekend, and just living a life that when she started with me, she had no idea was possible. So those dreams that you were putting on the shelf and just saying, oh, one day that'll happen. Well, why wait for one day? Let's make today day 1.
I love that. That's awesome. Tell us a little bit about your opportunity that you have for people to schedule a clarity call with you. What is that, and what does that look like?
Yeah, so that clarity call is an opportunity for basically what I just did with you, Tammy. Really seeing where are you seeing that your life isn't quite working for you. And we're not jumping into the deep end on the Olympic pool to just say, okay, overhaul, you're changing everything. We're going to really just narrow it down really super tiny to that 1%, and really just start to stack things on top of that. So that clarity call, you will leave that call with a clear pathway on what to either change or start to implement, and really just make shift happen.
Love that. Oh my gosh, you have like the best little sayings. Make sure clear the old BS, the belief systems. Like there's so many little fun little sayings that you have. I just love it. Well, that sounds like a great opportunity. If you're watching right now, whether it is live or on the replay, please use that link in the comments. I'm going to go ahead and put it up here on the screen as well, so that you guys can see it. But this is literally how you get on Samantha's schedule so that she can do that same thing with you. And typically, about how long do those last?
I have them set up for an hour, and it is over Zoom. And so with my Zoom calls, I actually use an AI note taker. So that way both of us can stay present, and it puts like a checklist and all kinds of things there for you. Not to say don't take notes. Please take notes if that's how your brain works. But it's just a nice backup, because I know for me, when I've been on my coaching calls, I'm like, wait, what did my coach say to me? It made so much sense. But also, here's why I really do it too, is because when you're talking to me, you hear yourself say things, and then I can send that to you. So that epiphany you had when you were on the call with me is right there in your pocket in your recording for you to recall on.
I love that so, so much. Well, I oftentimes, when I'm sitting here, because I tend to have tendencies that are very, I've never gotten a official diagnosis or anything, but ask my mom, I'm sitting here and you can't see my hands most of the time, but I literally have a pen and a clipboard that's right here, because I oftentimes will just sit here and scribble like this.
Oh, yeah.
or jot down like words that I need to remember to look up afterwards. I know that sounds
Yes.
funny, but because I know, like I am like forcing myself to sit.
Yes. No, I love that you do that.
Not because I'm not interested in what people are saying or engaged. I am. This is like totally right up my alley. I love this. And of course I love you. So it's very easy for me in that regard. But like my body, like if I'm not like bouncing on a yoga ball or like something, I just have learned that I can just sit here and kind of scribble. And it's not
Yes.
a big deal. Like who cares? Like nobody gives a crap. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So like they don't even know. But like when you
That's
were just
you.
saying that, I'm like, oh, I love that. She has these
Yes.
ideas, even appointments. You're so freaking cool. I love it.
Yeah. And
Anyway,
that's I
I don't know.
love that you do that because that's something that I share with my clients. I'm like, doodle. Like I don't have any by me, but like when I'm on coaching calls, I will do the same thing because what's actually happening, so this is actually a huge thing you're doing, Tammy, is you're giving your monkey mind something to do so you can actually listen better. So it's
Yeah,
a huge ADHD tip.
it's either that or I will. I was actually like picking at my nails all the time. Now I chose not to wear any nails so my endocrine system can breathe better.
Yes.
But I literally am just like, you know what? I'm just gonna do this, and it worked so well that I'm like
Yeah.
that. Yes. So I just keep this little clipboard, ready to go. It's like so simple, but also I think that having homeschooled 8 kids for 15 years, it was something that I learned is like not everybody learns the same way. And
Yeah.
I love how you coach because not everybody coaches the same way. And you have this market, like this certain type of person, this demographic, if you will, that you know how to coach them because that's how you are. You're like,
Mhm.
I know how to do this. So I appreciate that so much. Is there anything else that you'd like to close with before we end our interview today?
I can't think of anything specific. I am just so excited to bring this program out and just really help people, get clear, aligned, and focused. Because that actually is what the AF stands for. It's clear, aligned, and focused. But I'm definitely somebody who loves the double meanings. And yeah, I'm really just calling out for my people, people who are tired of, I don't know, just seeing the same loop over and over and over again, or thinking that the life that, allows them to work from anywhere or, allows them to be themselves truthfully and authentically is out of reach. It's not. Like, there's so many people who will just sit in silence and suffer because they think speaking up is wrong. And I am the opposite of that. That's why that title is that way, because it's like, no, we're doing this because I'm here to push you. I'm going to quote Tina Fey from Mean Girls, like, I'm a pusher. I'm going to push you. And not everybody's up for that. So if you're ready to make a change and really actually committed to doing it and you want to make that dream life your reality, let's do it.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us today for this speaker spotlight. I can't wait for you to be at the conference in person, in your class, at your vendor space. People can come and connect with you there and meet with you. You're in booth number 9 in the Meridian Ballroom for your vendor space. And then, of course, you're right there on the schedule. Very easy for people to find. If you are watching this right now and you don't know about the conference just yet, feel free to go on our website, energyhealingconference.com. And the links are all right there. You should be able to find everything easy, but I will go ahead and just put one link on in the comments for you now. And that is for the people who are speaking, because we have a full 2 days, all day Friday and all day Saturday next weekend. It's literally like in just a few days.
Yeah.
You guys want to make sure you get your tickets, and you can like hand pick and choose and select where you want to be. So go ahead and take a look at that. And if you have any questions at all, you can send me a text at 435-339-0442. All right. Thanks, you guys, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you, Tammy.